Terry was taken ill very suddenly. He hadn't shown any signs of illness until he had a sudden and acute hemorrhage. So he was taken to hospital through the accident and emergency department, and he was admitted. And after some tests, it was found that he had an advanced terminal cancer. And it was decided with his family and with the people closest to him that that chemotherapy wouldn't be in his best interests, and so basically he came home to die. And we were told that it would be a matter of weeks at most.
Terry had been quite ill, he had, and that he was in hospital, and then that he came back to the house where he lived in.
Terry had been present in the conversations at the hospital, but we didn't really know what he'd understood, because he was a man who didn't use very many words. He used some words and some gestures. He'd always been part of the conversations, and we were having conversations with him that he was going to die soon, and that it might be really nice for him to gather his friends, his housemates, but also he lived in a context where there were several houses connected in a community, and he had other friends in other houses, so how to gather people. And he said he wanted a party, and he wanted fish and chips. So we thought, well, fine. And as it evolved, it became a Terry's going to die party. We thought, actually, we need to tell people soon, because it might be a very short time before he dies. We need to be talking about it with Terry as much as he wants us to and can hear and tolerate.
I got a telephone call to say that Terry had come home from hospital, and that I think I might have been told on the phone that or I knew that he was quite poorly and that he was going to die anyway, but he had come home back to the house where he was living.
So we called it you are invited to a Terry's going to die party.
We were all going to gather in the evening to have fish and chips, what Terry liked, yes.
And he came home from hospital in the afternoon, installed himself in a big throne, blanket over his legs, and welcomed all his friends and his nephew. And he was very, very happy to be home, subdued in between. And we had the most extraordinary evening where we cried a lot. Lots of us cried. Terry cried. We also laughed a great deal.
The whole community had gathered in the house, and that Terry was sitting there. We sat there eating fish and chips. We did with Terry, we did, yes.
People enjoyed their fish and chips. Terry by this time was not well enough to eat. I think he ate a chip, and that was really about all he could manage. And we had some music, and we had a time of prayers. And in the time of prayers also, we invited people to say to Terry what they wanted to. So really we were able to say to him how much we loved him, how much we would miss him, but that we were happy to still be with him now.
We didn't stay too long because he was poor. I mean, he looked quite healthy really, but at the end of the day he was quite ill, and that needed to have the rest. So we didn't stay all that long. We didn't, yes. At the fish and chips party, yes.
And that was Terry's going to die party.
And there was a chance to say goodbye to Terry, and to talk to him and to have a bit of a joke with him, because I think he liked to have a joke, he did, and that yes, just to say that we're here to support you, Terry, through this, and that.
I think what was really good about having this party was it gave, because we called it a Terry's Going to Die party, it gave everyone the permission to talk about it, so that nobody was left with a fear of, well, we can see Terry's not very well. He's not the way he was even 10 days ago before he went into the hospital, and certainly how he'd been a couple of weeks before. He wasn't the same person. So having this permission.
Then the door was like open of the house where you could go and just sit with Terry and just talk to him, and as the days went on, because I went to see him a few times, that he was getting more and more weaker. He was, and that in the end, that it was just he wasn't up. He was, he was in bed, and that so we just sat with him and just talked to him, and that spent time with him. Yes, and ate nice food, because that's what the house did. That it was like an open house, and that people could go there to see Terry, but also that the other residents who lived in the house, that it was good to have Terry there, because then they could go and see Terry, and they could get to understand a bit more what's going on, and that
also to be able to say to Terry the things we wanted to say. And I think that was really special, that each person in that, it gave a framework, a context in which we could say to Terry how much we loved him.